I'll write it and we'll do it live.
So to get that perfect barbecue, you use wood. Are you sure it's safe? Whatever. We put the lighter fluid on, strike your match, and... Oh! Should we call the fire department? That might be a good idea.
Good evening and welcome to the Really Big Barbecue Central Show.
Ooh,
This is the show that talks about all things important in the world of barbecue and grilling. This show originated from the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame city, Bomb City, USA, Cleveland, Ohio, the barbecue capital of the North Coast. I am your program host, Greg Rempe. Happy to have you aboard here on your Tuesday evenings, a live fire fun and frivolity show. If you would like to get in contact with the show this evening, or you would like to follow the show during off-show hours, here's how you do all that.
You can get in touch with the show by sending an email to Greg at bbqcentralshow.com. Follow us on all the social media channels at BBQ Central Show. And be sure to subscribe to the show podcast feed on your favorite podcast platform.
Anything else you want to find out about the show can be found at the main website, thebbqcentralshow.com. And here's what's happening in case you didn't get the newsletter. Coming up in about 12 minutes from now, he first made his debut almost 2 years ago to the day, a New York Times best-selling author, and we talk about a new book he has coming out here shortly. Michael Grunwald rejoins the show. Last time he was on, we talked about lab-grown steak cuts, not plant-based beef protein, plant-based protein, whatever. This was specifically stuff being grown in labs that were supposed to look like steak cuts, if you can remember back that far. That was a long time ago. Everything's 2 to 3 years for me, and it's exactly 2 to 3 years in this instance, so finally I'm right. But we'll be talking about something completely different. Maybe we get a little bit of an update on the past topic as we lead into the interview, but then we have a book to talk about in the latter half of that interview. 14 past the first hour. Then we move to the second interview segment in the first hour, or as we call it, 35 past the first hour, where we'll be joined by in-studio guest Aaron Huntleman, who is right there. Aaron, welcome back to the show. Happy to have you. And we will be chatting it up about Mister Brisket, and we'll be talking about a little thing called the American Royal and Mister Brisket, and we might talk about the news you just broke to me before you jumped on air. Maybe we won't. I don't know, because all of a sudden I got a billion questions that I think I was going to ask you until you mentioned that. So welcome back. Happy to have you. And, of course, you'll be sitting in, from what I hear, on the Embedded Correspondents segment in the second hour.
Why not?
You're here?
We're here.
Might as well spend all the time you possibly can. So
Yep.
Stay tuned for a Aaron Huntleman, and he might join into the conversation in the first hour anyway with Mike Grunwald. We'll see about that. That brings a close to the first hour, and then we will move to the second hour, where, as I just mentioned, it is the fourth Tuesday of a month. And because it is a fourth Tuesday of a month, we will be joined by no less than all of the Embedded Correspondents and an Aaron Huntleman. Go Big or Go Barbecue. And we have what I would call a litany of brand new 100% Assurity questions to run through. So many, I never think I'm going to have enough. And then by the time it's all over, I think, how could I possibly have come up with so much? We have some Embedded Correspondent contributions to this, but the lion's share have come for your humble host. And I think they're pretty good. I have a new system that I'm trying down, or that I'm trying out over the last number of months as far as how I structure these. If you see some type of structure to that you can point out singularly and you would like to guess at it, You can shoot me an email or just jump in the chat if you would like and let me know what you think I'm doing. But I'll be honest. If you guess right, and if not, I'll tell you you're wrong when we move on with our lives. And that will bring a close to the show because, of course, Embedded Correspondents take the balance of the second hour. So that's how the show is laying out here tonight. Michael Grunwald and Aaron Huntleman in the first hour. Second hour, Embedded Correspondents, also joined by Aaron Huntleman sitting in here in studio through the whole evening. So be excited for that. Don't forget you can follow me socially, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Snapchat, and LinkedIn, all with the handle at BBQ Central Show. And we say good evening to those of you watching this show tonight through one of our video streaming platforms. You can go to facebook.com/BBQ Central Show, or you can watch on YouTube, which is youtube.com/@BBQ Central Show, where we have a new YouTube poll question of the week and partially spawned by this past weekend's events. And the question that we're asking everybody tonight, including all guests, is this: have you ever followed a band around the country before? And currently 100% of you are saying no, never followed a band around the country. Aaron, it's not that I'm not asking you right now, but of course, as you know, in the Embedded Correspondence segment, we always lead with the YouTube poll question of the week. And we will get your feedback in about an hour or so from now. So you're allowed to change your mind as many times as you would like over the next hour and change. But when we come to you in the second hour, you must be direct. You must be confident and courageous with a 100% yes or no to the question, have you ever followed a band around the country before? 100% of people saying no. I mean, already close to a third of the votes are already in. So I'm a little shocked. For me, I'm the 100%. Like, I would never follow a band around, and any band that I might follow around is going to suffer from what I would call same-set-itis. So if I'm following around like Metallica or Menudo or Ariana Grande or the great Harry Styles, because I've seen them all in concert, not Menudo. I've seen well in advance of them showing up to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame city what they're going to be singing, because their set list is widely published. It doesn't change. And the one positive that I hear about Jam Band, at least as it relates to this band called Goose that I saw on Friday, there is not a set list that is made. You might think you're going to hear this song or that song, or maybe they play some of their most popular hits wherever they go, but the set list is ever changing, and no one knows what covers are going to be dropping in. So you can only see from the latest show what was played, but that by no means amounts to what you might see the next night or later on Saturday, what have you. So that's the take right now. Oh, of course, and as I talk, now we are at 91%. 9% of you are saying you have followed a band around the country before. There is a Jason Kaplan from the Howard Stern Show recap coming. That will be in the second hour because I want to allot it due time. And I have some questions to ask Mr. Huntleman in his segment, too, that actually relate to the Jason Kaplan visit. But in the next hour and 40 minutes, I thought I would start here this evening. It has come to my attention that the last 2 days, perhaps across the country, and maybe the globe, but I don't care about the globe. I only care about this country because that's where I live. That the last 2 days have been really, really hot. Need I remind most of you, it was a miserable winter, followed by an equally miserable springtime. And now that we have enjoyed 48 hours of what is typical summer weather, more than any other time in my life, I have heard the bitching and moaning and screaming. It's dangerous. It's hot. It's 90 degrees. Do me a favor, in the words of the great Dave Chappelle, shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. It's 90 degrees. It's summertime. It's beautiful. There's nothing better than going outside and letting the sun and the heat hit your body. Moments of you thinking, I could be getting a sunburn. You're not thinking that when it's 30 below in the winter, thinking no matter how many layers of clothes I'm going to be putting on, I'm never going to be warm enough. When in the heat, you can quickly find a convalesce inside of an air-conditioned building and quickly you cool off. Gang, we're 2 days into it. Please shut up about how hot it is. There's a chance it could get hotter in the next month or so. Mike Grunwald is in the green room, ready to go. We're going to be talking about his new book. He's a best-selling author, New York Times best-selling author. We have a string of New York Times best-selling authors on the show now that I'm thinking about it here over the last month or so. So excited to catch up with Michael. Before we do that, might I entertain you with Pits and Spits? If you're serious about your grilling game, you need to check out the latest stuff that they have to offer. Let's kick things off with the Pits and Spits griddle. The gas griddle combining the power of a traditional grill with the versatility of a flat-top griddle. Engineered with precision and crafted from top-quality materials, this versatile griddle is set to revolutionize your outdoor cooking experience. Constructed of 304 marine-grade stainless steel, fully welded design, the griddle comes with 4 burners to accurately manage your heat zones and get blistering hot with 80,000 BTUs. By the way, as mentioned by Ryan Zabora last week, there appears to be a 3-burner model that's coming out as well, and your humble host might be a tester for that, so we're excited. Now, for those of you building your ultimate outdoor kitchen, you have to check out the built-in pellet grill designed for the discerning grill master who demands top-tier performance. This grill, the centerpiece of any serious outdoor kitchen. From low and slow smoking to high heat searing, the grill can handle it all. Brisket, ribs, pizzas, veggies, and the like. This grill can cook it all, and with the Pits and Spits legendary craftsmanship, you also can be confident it's built to last. Stainless steel construction, of course, a design as reliable as it is versatile. Take your grilling and cooking game to the next level. Head on over to the website, pitsandspits.com/BBQ Central. That's pitsandspits.com, all spelled out with a double T on the pits and the spits/BBQ Central. And then use promo code BBQ Central at checkout for a free spice pack with orders over $500 or more. Hook it up. And once I get my nasty little mitts on that 3-burner, I'll give you honest feedback, because I think that could be a real game changer for the backyard. All right, we're back with Mike Grunwald right after this. Stick around. Be right back.
You're listening to the Barbecue Central Show. Broadcasting live from the Barbecue Central Show studios in Cleveland, Ohio. You're listening to the Barbecue Central Show. Once again, here's your host, Greg Rempe.
All right, welcome back. This portion of the show being brought to you by Fireboard, makers of Fireboard 2, Fireboard Pro, Fireboard Spark, the Fireboard Beacon, and the wireless Fireboard Pulse. When you use a Fireboard app, you have total access to all devices anywhere in the world as long as you're connected to Wi-Fi. Find out more by visiting fireboard.com or call 816-945-2232. And studio guest Aaron Huntleman has corrected me. I've mistakenly spelled his last name wrong. Forgive me. Can I call you Aaron Huntleman now?
Yep.
Yes. All right, Aaron Huntleman it is from now on. T-shirts will be made, of course. My first guest tonight made his debut on the show back in September of 2023, where we went deep on plant-based, lab-grown beef cuts and what that looked like. This time around, we're talking about his new book set to release on July 1st, entitled We Are Eating the Earth, the Race to Fix Our Food System and Save Our Climate. We welcome back our pal, New York Times best-selling author, Michael Grunwald, to the show. Mike, how are you, pal?
Hey, thanks for having me, Greg.
So we have a YouTube poll question of the week that we're asking everybody tonight, including all guests. So you are a guest, and we ask you. Michael, have you ever followed a band around the country before?
Around the country? No.
No. Like you'll visit, you'll do a little SPAC or a little MSG or something like that, but you're not going state to state? No? All right.
I'm not that guy. Yeah,
92% of the YouTube voting public aligning with you and me. We have in-studio guest Aaron Huntleman. He's not allowed to answer yet. He has to save that for the second hour, but we're also a big fat no. But I was introduced to a guy who I've had quite the digital relationship with over the last 10 years, and he's very keen to follow this band Goose around. You know Goose?
I do not know Goose.
Have you ever heard of Fish?
Yeah. I actually saw Fish on New Year's Eve in 2000, right before the millennium. Yeah.
All right, so you saw it before everything, before Fish was Fish. Exactly. So evidently Goose was set to become the next Fish, so jam band kind of thing. So saw him in an intimate setting. Nevertheless,
interesting.
Most people that are listening and watching the show at this point have not followed the band around, and we move on from here. Before we get into the book and what you're looking to bring to the forefront here, if you don't mind, if we could trot back to that previous topic from a few years ago with lab-grown cuts of steak, beef, what have you. Where are we these days in that situation?
Well, it's funny. They actually, the first FDA approvals just happened for a company called Mission Barnes that's going to be putting lab-grown fat into plant-based meatballs and ultimately be, and I've tasted them. It tastes like pork meatballs. They really do, because the fat, as you know, from fat is such an important part of the taste of meat. It's really kind of overpowering, and it seems to be the easiest and cheapest part of the, to grow, rather than trying to grow 100% lab grown. That's going to take some time. So that's great. And then there's a company called Wild Type that just got approval for their lab grown salmon, which I've also had. And that's terrific. That's really good. It tastes and feels like the real thing. So, so I think, it's going to take time, but there were a lot of people who are sort of writing the obituaries for this stuff. And behind the scenes, they've just been bringing down the cost. And so it's going to be very difficult to compete with meat. And obviously, they don't like calling it lab grown. They call it cultivated meat because it is not in a lab. They're basically going to be brewing it in breweries. I think it's not going to be a major part of our meat or food system for the next 10 years. But down the road, I think you're going to see a lot of it.
So to say in a general sense that the plant-based and cultured food scene is on the downtrend is an inaccurate statement.
No, I think certainly, plant-based, they had their big moment in 2019. Beyond Meat went public, and it suddenly was $200 a share. It was suddenly worth half as much as Tyson. And I went to a conference on this stuff. I thought I was going to accidentally raise a Series A round in the drinks line. Everybody was so insane about it. And really kind of, the classic, the dogs didn't like the food. It just doesn't taste as good and is not as cheap as animal meat. And so it's really struggled in the marketplace. I'm not one of the people who say it will never be as good. I have a lot of faith in technology. I have this thing in my pocket that I can use to look up any fact known to mankind and use it as a flashlight and video chat with people in China. So, there are a lot of smart people working on this, and maybe they'll figure it out. But so far, it's just not as good, so people aren't buying it.
Let's talk about...
And meat's really good, as you know.
Of course. Meat is awesome. Meat is the greatest. There's no doubt about it. So unless you're a vegetarian incredible. Or somebody like that, you don't think meat is the greatest. But us carnivores are big believers in beef, no doubt about it. So let's talk about the new book here entitled We Are Eating the Earth, the Race to Fix Our Food System and Save Our Climate. What do you mean when you say we are eating the earth?
Well, ultimately, agriculture is eating the earth, right? A lot of people talk about how, urban sprawl, how our cities and suburbs are moving into nature. Well, that's about 1% of the earth is developed. 40% of the earth is cropped or grazed. 2 of every 5 acres on the planet, and 2/3 of that land is pasture. So to a large extent, and this is where I start getting in trouble with your listeners, but beef is eating a lot of the earth. I've actually cut out eating beef, and I freaking love beef, but I would have felt like a little bit too much of a hypocrite while working on this. I just eat more chicken and pork instead. Chicken and pork is not as good for the earth as lentils or beans, but like I'm weak. I love meat, but beef is like 10 times worse than chicken or pork. And it's partly because of the burps and farts everybody makes fun of, but it's mostly because it uses so much land. Cattle are really inefficient converters of their feed into our food. So dairy's pretty bad too, but dairy cows are producing food, multiple times a day. Beef cows only produce food once. And so it's a sort of very inefficient form of agriculture. We get about 3% of our calories from beef, and it uses about half of our agricultural land. So again, I am not here to stand on my soapbox and tell people what to do. I'm just, my book is trying to put out some facts, and those are the facts. Like, it's one of the reasons that we're having these hot days, right?
Is it?
It's contributing, sure. Yeah. And as time goes on, we're gonna get more and more of them.
As a fan of heat, then I say, let's get more goddamn cows out there and let's jack it up a little bit. So when the
cows don't like it so much either, right? It's tough on the cows. It's tough on the crops.
Yeah.
There are going to be, and what part of the point of my book is that, everybody talks about fossil fuels, and fossil fuels are definitely an issue, and they're 2/3 of their climate problem. But food is a third of it. And it gets about 3% of climate finance and about 0% of climate conversation. And it's an even bigger part of our, biodiversity problems. It's the major cause of deforestation, wetland destruction. So it's a big deal, and if you do care about the planet, this is important stuff.
When the cows are around grazing, you said they're, inefficient, plus they're a one-time use.
Right.
If I'm listening to the ranchers that I'll have on the show, we're doing regenerative pasture, whatever the fuck they're calling it. Is this just bullshit? Does it have some kind of truth? I'm just trying to suss out, if I'm going to spend my money with somebody and they're telling me this, am I doing anything good, or is it bullshit?
It's good for the soil. But these movies where, you see like Kiss the Ground and Common Ground, where they claim by doing regenerative agriculture, they're reversing global warming. That is almost entirely bullshit. And in fact, grass-fed organic beef is worse for the climate than conventional feedlot finished beef, because essentially feedlots are more efficient. They get the cattle to slaughter weight faster, so they're not around burping and farting methane as long, and they use less land because, again, they get, it's a more efficient way of fattening them. And you got to remember, a lot of what goes into a cow is not become meat, right? It's hooves, it's tails, it's breathing and mooing and pooping. These are all activities that require energy, require feed, and do not produce meat for us. You can see the appeal of trying to grow lab-grown meat. It's like, oh, well, we're not going to grow for chicken, we're not going to grow the feathers and the beaks and the clucking and the breathing. Or for cows, we're not going to, grow all this stuff that doesn't make meat. They're not there yet, but you could see how in the long run it could be, more efficient and even cheaper. Right now, cattle are, they are inefficient and environmentally expensive. I have solar panels on my roof. I have an electric car. I fly way too much. I have a pretty big impact on the climate and the planet. I'm not one to shake my finger at anybody. And then there are some people who will be like, how can you write a book about agriculture and that it's eating the earth, and you still eat meat. And basically it's like, I don't know, I love it. I'm sorry. So again, I'm not trying to tell people what to do. I'm just trying to put out some facts. But it is true that, animal agriculture, in many ways, the earth is becoming an animal farm, and we are on track to deforest another dozen California's worth of land by 2050. And we don't really have another dozen California's worth of forest to spare. So these are tough questions, and things are going to have to change. I write about, dozens of ways things can change. But one thing I just always do try to point out is things aren't going to change by people screaming like meat is murder, you're evil for eating meat. And I talked to a pollster who said that like taxes on meat or other restrictions on meat are the least popular policy he has ever polled. He said it was up there with veterans benefits for ISIS. So again, right now, right? Like ground beef is what? It's like $6 a pound right now.
Yeah.
It's these are, and like people don't like that.
So is this what's happening? We don't realize that somebody's jacking up the prices of meat because in the end they're trying to get us to stop eating more meat?
Well, no, I think it's more a supply and demand thing, and there have been, as you've seen in the meat industry, there have been like this screwworm problem, and where that can really affect the supply, and when the supply goes down, the price goes up. You've got tariffs. You've got a lot going on, and I would not say that this is like, you do have, as there are some pretty, like, do you call them cartels? I don't know, but there's a lot of concentration in the meatpacking business, and that has to do with that drives up prices. But again, there was cartels a few months ago, and the prices weren't this bad. So it's like I wouldn't point to one particular
Weren't the cartels being sued for collusion or something like that not too long ago?
Well, I know the Biden administration was, this is not my issue, but I know the Biden administration was sort of trying to push some anti-concentration type things, and the Trump administration has pretty much stopped that. Certainly some of like Tyson, these kind of vertically integrated companies that that I know a lot of people who are actually chicken farmers complain about that. I think with cattle, it's a little different. You've got a couple like these companies like JBS, which is really massive. They're just kind of huge. I don't think it's as much a vertical integration thing, but again, it's people love meat. People love beef. The world eats 350 million tons of meat every year.
Wow.
And, we kill 70 billion animals every year to eat them. And so, I don't think, it's not going to be Mike Grunwald writing a book saying like, well, you are eating the earth. And people are going to be like, oh, whoa, sorry. Okay, we'll stop. It's kind of it's not what I'm saying. But I do think these are issues that people got to grapple with. And yeah, I do put in a little plug. Like if you like pork and chicken as much as I do, eat a little more of that and a little less beef. Like the average American eats the equivalent of 3 burgers a week. And if we only ate 2, we would save the equivalent of a Massachusetts worth of land every year. So this stuff does add up. It makes a difference. And, if this is something you care about, something to take in mind. And if something you don't care about, God bless.
You've put a lot of work into it. You've done your journalistic due diligence. You're a decorated journalist as well and writer. Is there a portion of the population that will go, this guy's full of shit and he's working some kind of an agenda?
Yeah, I mean, it's funny. This actually started. What I'm getting at is like, I didn't have an agenda because I was spectacularly ignorant about this stuff. I stumbled into it because basically I'd written a lot about the environment. I'd written a lot about the climate, and I realized I knew absolutely nothing about the food part of it. And that's a third of the problem. And like I said, it's even bigger part of, our water pollution problems, our water shortages. Agriculture uses 70% of our fresh water. And actually, again, beef is sort of the baddie there. So I came into it knowing nothing. And I really said like, there are a million books about energy and climate, energy and the planet. Let me look into food because that hasn't been done. And it was really like just a journey of discovery for me. So yes, it is true that some of the regenerative people are mad at me because I am very tough on carbon farming. I talk about how some regenerative practices can actually help with kick-ass yields because basically we need to make more food with less land.
Sure.
And to the extent that, this regenerative stuff, particularly on the grazing side, it actually seems to help, particularly in Brazil. You see some of these rotational grazing, mob grazing can actually help with yields. That's awesome. And I'm not trying to be prescriptive and say like, oh, you've got to have feedlots or, industrial agriculture is the only way. But I do call bullshit on some of this carbon farming stuff, this idea that we're just going to magically sort of repatriate all the carbon we pumped into the sky and put it in the soil. And so, yeah, I did a debate at Berkeley where it was me against this professor of agroecology. And, Alice Waters, the sort of famous organic chef from Chez Panisse in San Francisco.
Yep.
She was sitting in the third row and just glaring at me the whole time, just staring daggers. Although I will, as long as I mention that, I should say that Paul Newman's daughter, who runs Newman's Own Organic, she came up to me afterwards, and obviously she wasn't thrilled with everything I had to say either. But she was like, "Wow, that was really interesting. I learned so much." She was much. I asked, she had been sitting next to Alice Waters. I was like, "Didn't look like Alice Waters thought much of it," and she was like, "Yeah, no, she was. She didn't like it."
I feel like the more, maybe it's just because I'm getting older, or maybe it's because of the world we're living in these days. I feel like people are way less inclined to keep an open mind, to go to a debate. Like, so what is a debate? You're going to hear one side of something, you're going to hear another side of something, and then maybe it's something that nobody's leaving their mind open to consider the other side. They want to go to hear the echo chamber of the side they want to support, and then it's like they don't even want to hear the other side of it, or they stare daggers at that person instead of keeping an open mind and going, maybe I don't agree with everything, but he really brought some things to light.
I think that's right. I mean, but look, there was a room, it was a room full of 200 hippies and foodies who wanted to hate me. And I think by the end, they'd really we'd sort of found some common ground, and it was really interesting. I did a guy who ran a regenerative group out there. He's sort of also is one of the heads of Slow Food USA. He came up to me afterwards and was like, I wanted to hate you, but you totally won. And I ended up doing his podcast. So it's like, so again, I think there are actually some characters in my book people who kind of come around, who sort of realize they're wrong. And I do think there's some dignity in that, in being able to say like, hey, you kind of gave me some facts and now I know something I didn't. And that is part of my book, is this notion that these are issues that people know very little about.
Yep.
And I can say it because I knew absolutely nothing about it. Now, 6 years later, I know quite a bit, but I think it's one of those things where most people don't know very much. A lot of what people think they know sort of just isn't so. And so I think it's always good to have more facts, and these are not necessarily ideological issues, right? That regenerative stuff you talk about, like, yes, Al Gore loves it and Michael Pollan loves it on the left, but Bobby Kennedy and Joe Rogan love it on the right, and Archer Daniels Midland and General Mills and and the United Nations, and so and the Rockefeller Foundation and a lot of environmental groups are all pushing this stuff, and they're all angry at me in varying degrees. So again, like I think there's stuff that we can learn from each other. I sort of talk in the book how I think that sort of people who are big industrial ag supporters and people who are the kind of more, natural, kinder and gentler regenerative ag supporters, I think they can learn from each other. They don't necessarily need to be locked up in their silos. Mostly I'm trying to start a discussion, and that's, hopefully that's, if people don't have to agree with me, as long as they're clicking and reading the book, right?
I feel like you should be able to do your job, report what you have found out, and if you want to partake in a steak once every 6 months, or you want to eat more chicken and give up red meat all the way, it's not hypocritical. You're doing your job, and you're also enjoying some things that you like, but you're doing what you feel is your part.
Yeah.
Go on.
Look, that's right. I think, I feel like diets are a little bit like religion, right? Everybody kind of finds
They're
the
fake.
level of hypocrisy that we're comfortable with, right? No, I always like perfect isn't on the menu. I try to say that better is better than worse. That's really a real theme in my book, and sort of in a lot of my journalism, I think, has been like trying to look at ways that things can be a little bit better. Acknowledging that, probably like we are kind of flawed species, right? We have, we're not very nice to the planet. We're not very nice to each other. But we're really good at inventing stuff. And sometimes when we do feel like we're in a crisis, we're really good at reacting to it, and we're good at solving problems. So I think this is a problem to a lot of us. It doesn't yet feel like a crisis because we're not all going to die tomorrow from climate change or from, biodiversity losses or from any of these issues that I'm writing about. But it's important and it's a big deal. And I think a lot of people, including a lot of farmers and ranchers, want to leave a better planet for their kids. They care about the land. They consider themselves good stewards of the land. And I think many of them are. But one of the things I am trying to say, without trying to offend anybody, because we eat, and so we all have an impact on the planet, but collectively agriculture is stewarding a mess. And I think we need to try to have it make less of a mess, and we should be trying to help farmers and ranchers make less of a mess. If beef was only 3 times as destructive as chicken, like that would be a tremendous victory for the planet.
Yeah.
Right. And for those of us who feel like Willie Sutton said, why do you rob banks? And he said, 'cause that's where the money is. Like, well, if you care about emissions, like beef is where a lot of the emissions are. So like vegans would just say like, no beef. But I'm saying here, like, a little less beef would be good, but also better beef. That's not necessarily the kind of like Michael Pollan approved, regenerative, kind of foofy, light on the land type of beef. Sometimes it's like feedlot beef that's just really efficient.
Yeah.
But in any case, like low emissions beef that's better for the planet is going to be really helpful and really part of the solution.
The book is We Are Eating the Earth, the race to fix our food system and save our climate, ready to go on July 1st, which is like a week away. So
can pre-order it now.
Yep, go ahead, pre-order wherever you get the book. We're wishing you great success on that, and we'd love to have you back again soon to talk about anything else, climate or beef or non-beef related. It's always a great conversation, Michael. Appreciate it.
Anytime. Have a great July 4th and grill it up.
All right, take care. There he is, Michael Grunwald. So grab your copy of his new book that'll be coming out in a week. Pre-order it now. Of course, everybody loves pre-ordering. That's evidently you got to have a big pre-order stable, Aaron, if you're going to see success in book writing anymore. That's all I'm hearing. You got a big following. Have you been approached about writing a book?
Not yet.
Not yet?
The Thigh Life by Aaron.
Yeah. You can't talk that low. You got to get into the mic and project. Otherwise, you're going to get kicked out of this studio.
Be loud.
You have to get right on that mic and be loud. No shyness here.
Smile.
I'm going to have to turn the preamp up all the way and blow everybody out of the water here. Any thoughts on that interview?
I'm not smart enough to talk to that guy.
I mean, I'm not either, but I did.
I sell meat, so I mean, the only thing I was thinking was if we can make steaks that we don't have to cut, it cuts labor costs down on the butcher shop side of things.
Yeah, so then you're out of a job, is what you're saying?
The guy, well, you only have to have one guy at the shop instead of 3.
Yeah, and it's you, not everybody. Sorry, everybody else.
See you later.
Aaron needed a job. All right. Well, stand by. We're going to come back to you in just a second as we get ready for the Go Big or Go BBQ interview that everybody's been waiting for. They're feverishly tuning in. By the way, we lost 4% of people following bands around. We'll update you on that. Hey, Primo Grill sponsors the show. Did you know about that? Yes, they do. Yes.
This is nice.
Very nice. And what do we love about ceramic cookers? We love that they're fuel efficient. We love that they can achieve low and slow temperatures for traditional barbecue meats. We love that they can get rip-roaring hot for the high-temperature grilling of steaks and other thin cuts. But what's missing in the everyday lineup of ceramic cookers? The real ability to do true two-zone cooking. Two-zone cooking is very important to both professional and backyard cooks alike. A best way to manage a fire and cook with confidence. However, getting a two-zone fire in a round ceramic cooker isn't very realistic. Why? Because it's round. Enter Primo Grill and the game-changing oval design. The shape gives you the ability to execute that two-zone setup that you desire. It also gives you the other ceramic grill benefits as well. And when you break it down, there's more than 60 different ways to configure the Primo cooker. So you're only limited by your culinary imagination. Sold through dealers only. Find them on their website, primogrill.com. That's primogrill.com. So we'll sum it up in this way. Best ceramics in the biz, yes. Patented technology and true two-zone cooking capabilities with multiple sizes, yes to all of that. Again, primogrill.com. Find the dealer near you. Visit them in person. Touch, feel all the ovals. And then buy the extra large. You'll thank me later. Used the Primo this past weekend with new pal in person, Jason Kaplan. Made chicken thighs, made atomic buffalo turds, everything a winner coming off the Primo. Plus, I have a shitload of charcoal left over. Close the bottom damper, close the top damper, it puts itself out, and now I have charcoal to reuse for the next time for a very long grilling session if I would care to do a long grilling session. Wow, the benefits are numerous, but you got to go get one. Primogrill.com. We're back with Aaron Huntleman right after this. Stick around, we'll be right back.
You're listening to the Barbecue Central Show. Howard Stern, Jim Rome, Dan Patrick, and Greg Rempe. The Mountain Rushmore of talk show entertainment. Now, let's get back to the Barbecue Central Show.
And we thank Michael Grunwald for joining us last segment. Find his new book wherever you're buying books at. This portion of the show brought to you by Pit Barrel Cooker, the most unbelievable outdoor cooking device on the planet. Currently available in 3 sizes with a host of accessories. It does not matter if you're a beginner or a professional. It's just a cooker to add to the arsenal, especially if you're looking for the upright barrel cooker. Visit pitbarrelcooker.com and tell them the Barbecue Central Show sent you. Joining me now in studio guest, multiple time in studio guest, and the pitmaster of Go Big or Go Barbecue, Aaron Huntleman, rejoins the show here. All right, Aaron, so we have a number of things to get to. I'm not asking
Andrew, you are not
asking you the YouTube poll question of the week just yet, but we will in the second hour. So I will start by asking you how the beef retail business is these days at a Mister Brisket.
We're growing. I mean, we're growing in the shipping side of things. I will say it's quiet but steady in store, but shipping wise, I mean, we're up from last year.
What does the retail business there look like? Is it a big lunch crowd or like a stop in, carry out from a food eating, or is there a lot of meat buying?
During the week it's sandwiches. It's you'll get, when the summer ramps up, we get a lot more guys, girls, families, everybody coming in, and they'll grab stuff during the week, but really during the week is sandwiches. And then Friday, Saturday, we kind of ramp up on the meat. We'll fill the case with more steaks and briskets and things like that to get out during the weekend.
Where are the high-end steaks coming from these days.
We're still doing Imperial Wagyu.
Yeah.
They're actually a JBSSA subsidiary. So we're part of the cartel, I guess.
Are we getting jacked around on price?
No, I mean, so Wagyu itself holds steady. I think their price is more of, I don't know if it's a yearly, bi-yearly kind of price set for them, but, those prices don't move. I mean, I will tell you, choice and prime briskets, they're way up right now, at least $1 a pound each, if not a little more, on wholesale costs versus like 2 or 3 months ago. But the Wagyu's pretty much stayed steady the whole year.
My pal John Solberg, who we'll see in the second hour, mentioned to me a few days ago when we were talking on the phone that he's seeing what is tantamount to a skyrocketing in beef prices across the board in general. Maybe not talking about Wagyu, but let's say commodities beef. Is there truth in that as well?
I think so.
Yeah. Why?
I mean, from what I've heard, it's a smaller herd and a bigger demand, and I don't know if that's still
Is there any way to prove that?
No. But I've heard something like that every year. I mean, this is the first time where I'm like, we've gotten in briskets and I'm like, whoa, and how did that go up that much, after like last shipment? But I mean, it's, supply and demand. I think might be a smaller herd. We might still be seeing the impacts of, feed coming over from overseas that isn't getting to us or blah, blah, blah. But, for us, we're such a small player in that area that we try to absorb and keep a steady price.
So it sounds like buy Imperial product and you're flat on the price at this moment.
Right now, I mean, yeah. I mean, we have a great salesperson we work with, and she's always sending us a sheet of this is what I got on sale, and that's what we try to buy, to try and keep those prices steady.
What is the most popular stuff from a meat cut standpoint selling at Mr. Brisket? What does Cleveland like to buy?
Ribeyes.
Period?
Ribeyes, basically, period. If not, actually, flank steaks go out a lot. Flank steaks, and then we're known for hanger and skirt because you can't really find hanger and skirt steaks, at most Heinen's or Giant Eagles. So people come in for those, and from there it's, do you have a tri-tip or do you have, we get, asked for picanha, but we don't get it as much as we'd like to.
Do you have to order it as picanha?
Yep. Or is it called the bottom sirloin or it's the top sirloin?
Yeah.
Either which one it is, but yeah. That's how we have to order it.
What skirt steak do you guys carry?
Outside.
Is that the one that you would use for tacos?
It's the good skirt steak.
Yeah.
Not
like the
real
rectangular long one.
It's a belt basically of meat. Yeah.
Meat belt?
Yep. I love our skirt steak. I think that's the best steak we sell.
What's that running a pound?
$32.95 a pound on the Wagyu.
Fuck that.
Yeah.
Holy moly. Is that Wagyu?
Yeah, that's the Wagyu.
Yeah.
Prime's probably in that 28 pound range.
Available?
Yeah, Prime we have right now.
Do you have any availability issues in any grade at this point?
Not in meat or not in beef. Beef we haven't seen supply issues. Chickens where I've seen supply issues.
Do you carry multiple lines of chickens?
No, just the Springer
Wagyu chicken?
No, just Springer Mountain Farms is what we bring in on the chickens.
All right. We got this.
A Barbecue Central Show exclusive news update.
Greg Rumpy reporting from the breaking news desk here in Cleveland, Ohio, the city that breaks the most live fire breaking news across the country. Nay, the globe. And I am here in studio with Aaron Huntleman, who just broke a huge story as we're sitting across from each other about 6 feet away. Am I allowed to mention this?
Yeah, I talked about it. We said something at the beginning of the year about it.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Mr. Brisket has bought Go Big or Go BBQ. How about that? That's a crazy.
The brand, not me as a person.
Well, yes, I think that's highly illegal, at least in some states. So, when did that venture, or how does that conversation take place?
Hank technically was my biggest customer per se, because we use the sauce by the gallon, we use the rubs by 10-pound bags for all of our catering and all the barbecue we do in store. And so it was kind of just, we sometimes butted heads on where I split my time, between Mister Brisket or Go Big or Go Barbecue. And I was finally like, Hank, I said, why don't we just combine forces, make it part of, under the Mister Brisket umbrella? And he's like, well, I've been meaning to talk to you about that. So we both were thinking it. It was just waiting on one of us to bring it up. And, you know, we're switching to a new co-packer. We're getting in plastic bottles for the sauce. We're moving to the 16-ounce shakers for the rub. And, you know, we have big plans on the horizon. And, you know, we're going big.
Who are you using for co-packer? Like, where are you switching from and where are you going to?
We're switching from, like, Dorina, who is a great co-packer. They've been great for me since 2020, I think, or late 2019.
Where are they out
of? Chicago.
Okay.
And we're moving over to Heath Riles co-packer, Reed Foods Tastemaker down in the Memphis area, I think is where they're at.
Is that who does Malcolm's too?
Yeah, I think so.
And is that who does Big Papa's too?
I don't know.
I thought all those guys kind of... Does they do Meat Church?
I don't know about that one. I didn't really dive deep. I just asked Mitchell Bedwell, you know, who do you guys use? And we've had good conversations, and I trust their judgment. I mean, obviously, they've got a couple of lines out there, so...
Yeah.
You know, and they nailed, you know, my samples back to us. We went back and forth. They've been great to work with, and you know, we're waiting on the new batch to come in.
So everything will be for sale
in
retail there at Mister Brisket. If you're a local Cleveland, you can stop in and grab bigger bottles and plastic bottle sauces whenever they hit the shelves. When are you anticipating arrival?
I'm hoping second week of July, I think, is when we're going to have it all ready.
Well, congratulations on that.
Thank you. It's exciting. You know, we went from me doing it on my own and doing a Kickstarter in 2019 to bottle, you know, to starting with Hank in 2021 and then rolling into last year and going, Hank, let's do it together. And here we are getting 400 gallons of barbecue sauce coming to us.
Wow. I mean, the sauce is good. I'm a fan. I've had it many times, especially all the 3 bottles.
Yeah.
And but from what would I buy with my own money? If it's there, if it's available, if I need sauce, then, I mean, I'm always partial to my homemade sauce, of course, because it is the best. And nobody has decided to snake it from me when I send out the thank you letter for signing up for the newsletter, but that's their fault, not mine.
Yeah,
but
you know.
There's not many additional sauces, so I'll definitely buy Blues Hog. I'll definitely buy some versions of Head Country, but not all versions. And I would definitely buy a Go Bigger Barbecue. I would buy a PD River Swamp Sauce, which I don't even think is available anymore, but that was a banger back in the old days. And Smokin' Coals, which is completely unavailable anymore, was one of the best barbecue sauces I've ever had. Maybe a Meat Mitch Womp Sauce.
That's a big one.
That's pretty good. But you know, some of those I think are a bit knocky-offy of a Blues Hog, if I'm being honest. So it's almost like in a certain arena of that sauce, you like one, you like everything.
Yep.
And you'll just get what's available. But your sauce is definitely a bit unique. It's got all the flavor profiles that I hit, and I'm sure it'll be continuing on in its success train journey.
That's the goal.
How do you get in? Oh, sorry. The other big news was you have, I don't want to use the wrong words here, so I'm going to just say something and then you correct me if I'm wrong. You have some type of an alignment with the American Royal Barbecue Competition this year.
So we are partners.
Partners.
Where we're saying what we are, which is just a sponsorship level at the American Royal, but it's a partnership level of sponsorship. So with that, I mean, what really kicked this off was, in 2023, we launched trimming chicken thighs and got our comp box together for the 4 meats. And I think that was our test 6 months. Is this going to work? Is this something that's going to go off? And like Hank always says, well, people vote with their dollars. Well, after 2 years, we've sold over 20,000 chicken thighs, so I think people have voted with their dollars. So last year was more of a, we're doing this, we're getting the train going, we're seeing how we can grow it. And then this year was, now we have an established base. What do we do next? You always have, I can't reinvent chicken thighs. I can't reinvent the brisket, this and that. So where do we go next? And I think the next step for us as a business for Mister Brisket is supporting the people that support us. So the biggest thing I saw was, why don't we go where a very large portion of our customers are? And that's the American Royal. And I was going through like the sign up last year, and they show you can click to do, sign up for your porta potty, your tent, do you want ice? Do you want a golf cart? And I'm like, well, why can't they just check, do you want a comp box for Mr. Brisket for $399 delivered to the Speedway? And so went with them. You actually got me the contact, which was great because trying to get in through their general email was not getting me anywhere. But as soon as I got your contact, they got back to me. And so we are, we went with them and they said it's a great idea. And here we are hoping to sell some comp boxes.
Do you have any orders yet?
So we haven't got any solidified orders. I know I'm at like 25% clicks on the thing. So, there's some background stuff where they won't share information, and we have to get it. We have to figure out the notification thing to reach out to these folks. But I know people are clicking the box to order.
If people are hearing this for the first time tonight, what's in the competition box?
So the competition box for the Royal is going to be 16 trimmed competition chicken thighs, Springer Mountain Farms. It's going to be 3 Prairie Fresh Prime or Wichita Packing ribs, your choice. 3 Prairie Fresh all natural pork collars, and then a trimmed Imperial Wagyu brisket flat. And then we're including kale with this too. And, that's kind of my crazy idea. I've heard that if you go to Kansas City, for the Royal, and if you don't have kale with you, they sell out at all the Walmarts and local grocery stores pretty fast. So I've already contacted the produce supplier out there for restaurants, and, we are now a customer in Kansas City for kale.
But you're shipping all your stuff from Cleveland, Ohio out
Yep.
to the...
Yeah, I'm now a logistics manager to try and figure out how to get the meat from here to Kansas City.
Good night.
It's not daunting, but it's definitely going to be a learning curve to figure that
You
part
might
out.
have to rent a straight truck and just drive it out yourself.
Josh from Buckeye Flavor has a CDL, so
Yeah.
that's not out of the question.
So does Andrew Barnhart. He's a
Yeah.
Class A tractor trailer driver. You get enough orders,
Yep.
we might be able to rent a tractor trailer.
Yeah, why not? That's the goal. I always thought it would be cool to, roll up with a tractor, a trailer full of, comp boxes or just meat from Mister Brisket. I think when I started at Mister Brisket, you asked, why Mister Brisket? And I said, well, I think it's a gold mine. And I think we're starting to finally mine that gold. And, we're finding our niche. We're growing. We've grown the past 2 or 3 years in many aspects of the business, and to the point where Hank's wanting me to do this stuff. So here we are.
All right, I got to ask a question. I've had the comp trimmed chicken thighs a while back. Great if you're into that. And then when Jason was over this past weekend, you brought me the 3 racks of Wichita ribs.
Yep.
Bangers again. I don't know if I lucked out the last 2 times in a row. But
They're a great rib.
I mean, I'm pretty demanding customer. And you can tell everybody, like, when I'm texting you what I want, I'm like, it better be this. It better be that. Like, I'm pretty demanding because I am a discerning backyard cook. And then I
handpicked the ribs.
well, I mean, good for you. You've done it really well the last 2 times. You can continue to pick the ribs for me, is what I'm saying. So let me stop this here because we're going to go over. The question is this. I threw a curveball. I've never asked for chicken before. I said, what about some untrimmed chicken thighs? So I don't know what we did, like 14 or 16 or whatever.
Something like that, yeah.
And it's like a huge bag of just chicken thighs all stuffed in there. Great. And I'm no stranger to chicken thighs myself, whole ones. And I open up the bag. I've never seen in my entire barbecue life singular chicken thighs that were this big.
Yeah.
They were the biggest goddamn chicken thighs I have ever seen. They were almost like to the ounce, the same size. I mean, there were a very few that weren't nearly as big as the others. So the question is this. Are you using those thighs to make the comp chicken thighs?
So Henry sorts them a little bit. So Henry's our guy who trims all the thighs. Aaron did it for a while, and then I became the guy who hired the guy to do the job. And Henry's our guy right now.
Big shot alert.
Yeah, something like that. Capitalist. And so Henry, I kind of told Henry, I was like, if give him the ones that you don't think will work for comp thighs. So he does. I mean, the kid does. We get in 240 pounds of thighs a week. So he sorts them. He goes through them. He knows how to take those down to a 5-6 ounce thigh once it's all said and done. But if we can avoid it and just use them in retail space, that's what we do with them.
Because I'm looking at these thighs as I'm pulling them out.
I saw the weight at the end.
Yeah, there was very little. The thing that I really appreciate is you get them from Giant Eagle or you get them from Heinen's, whatever. I will get Heinen's chicken all day long. It's markedly better than Giant Eagle. We're just talking about our local grocery stores around here for the people that don't know the names we're talking about. But there's always, a amount of chicken skin that's hanging off of one side, so you got to trim that. I mean, you don't have to, but I'm a maniac, so I'm trimming that off. I'll square it up a little bit. I'm not a knuckle and an oyster guy. I don't give a shit about that, but I don't like to have extra skin where I don't need extra skin. Hardly any knife work that needed to be done here, but as I'm pulling them out and seasoning them up, I'm looking at my wife and I'm like, I fear that this is where the chicken thigh starts. They're cutting off like 2 pounds of chicken thigh, and then what are they doing with the rest of that? And is Mr. Brisket a chicken waster, the likes we have never seen? I better call Michael Grunwald and get him on the case here. But you're saying that's not the case.
No, well, so so between the briskets that we trim and the chicken that we trim, I can create 2 or 3 sales out of all of that. With the chicken, we're taking the fat scrapings off the skin. We're making chicken schmaltz. I make a big batch of chicken schmaltz every week. If you don't know what that is, it's pure rendered chicken fat, basically like beef tallow but chicken fat. It's great for veggies, but I use it like in your competition chicken trim pan or competition chicken pans. I mix that with butter for your butter bath. It just really adds that chicken flavor. It's good. But then we any trimmings we have, we grind. We grind and make chicken burgers or just have ground chicken on hand. And then we have like the knuckle side that you cut off. We make chicken stock out of that. So we're cross utilizing where we can. We're saving the environment.
So if I go, you're not eating the earth. You're saving the earth.
Yep.
If I order chicken again, I can assume I can get chickens in that realm.
Yep. Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, we got 12 more cases today.
Good news. Mr. Brisket now has my chicken thigh business going forward. Thank you. I mean, they tasted great.
Hank, you can retire.
They cooked up well. Oh my God. I mean, they were easily the best thighs I've ever had.
They're great. It's
from
great
retail.
chicken.
I mean, it does take a cook's
touch
expertise to get it to where I actually want it, but to start out, like, you got to start out with something good in order to finish with something good. And, not just saying this because you're sitting in across the seat from me. You could easily beat me up if you wanted to. I mean, these were superior chicken thighs. And I didn't feel like first of all, I'm always pissed that I have to pay, number one. But then number two, like, if I have to pay, then I want the quality to be there. And I was extremely happy with everything about that chicken experience. And everybody raved about it. Nobody says anything because we are complete beef and chicken snobs in this house because of what I do down here.
Yep.
Nobody says shit about anything when they see it. They could be the most spectacular thing, see it, been there, done that, no big deal. They're completely desensitized to greatness. Everybody that walked by the chicken before it went on the Primo this past weekend was like, holy shit. Look at the size of those chicken thighs. I was like, I can only hope that they're going to taste as good as they look. And the Primo did its job, and we pulled them right where I wanted to. They rested out a little bit, and when it was time to eat, they're so big. I had 2, and I was hating my life because then I also had a half a rack of ribs because I nailed the ribs. They were so good. I was overeating, but I couldn't stop eating because of how great everything was. So, long way to go.
Yep.
To say, if you're in the market for chicken thighs, even commodities chicken thighs here, not the competition prep, do yourself a favor, try it out and see the size of these things, and the taste is superior. What's the brand again?
Springer Mountain Farms.
Where are they at?
I think the farms themselves are on the East Coast, like Carolinas, somewhere. It's where they come out of.
Yeah, nice.
So we
congrats on the chicken. I mean, it is a 100% banger. Love it.
Yep.
All right. Anything else before we turn into the second hour here and I subject you to the embedded correspondence?
No, I think we had fun.
All right. What's Mr. Brisket's website?
www.misterbrisket.com.
All right. There's Aaron Huntleman right there. Aaron, you stand by.
Yep.
And we will go to the... I went really long. Shysters. What do you got here? Hey, did you know we're celebrating 15 years with Big Papa Smokers being in business? Yes. Backyard warriors like me, competition pros like Aaron and the rest of the gang out there looking to win grand championships. Whether you're prepping for your next comp or you're firing up the grill for spring or summer, Big Papa's award-winning rubs like Sweet Money, Competition Brisket and Steak, Cash Cow, Cattle Prod, Sweet Louis Seasoned Salt, Desert Gold, the list goes on. The bold flavors that you're looking for to take barbecue to the next level. And for a limited time, they've brought back a fan favorite, La Cucaracha. The extra kick you've been craving and wishing would show back up. Well, it's here and it's ready, but only for a limited time. Barbecue Central Show listeners can save on the shipping. How much? Free. How about that? Everybody loves free. BBQ Central 25 at checkout. BBQ Central 25 at checkout. All one word. BBQ Central 25 at checkout for free shipping now through June 30th. So only 6 days left. Cripes. Visit BigPapaSmokers.com and stock up now. BBQ Central 25 for free ground shipping. Some exclusions do apply, so check that out. But I can guarantee on all the rubs and the Granny's barbecue sauce, all you want, free shipping. How about that? BBQ Central 25 for free ground shipping. Stick around. We'll be right back with an abridged first hour close and then an abridged second hour.
Continuing to produce incredibly mediocre content in an exceptionally professional way. You're listening and watching the Barbecue Central Show. Once again, here's your host, Greg Rempe.
All right, we are doing the abridged close to the first hour. How abridged? This abridged. We are out of time, and we are going to the second hour, so stick around. We'll be right back.
Happy to have you aboard here for the really big barbecue show.
We cook because we have to, and we grill because we want to.
Hit me!
Fine, how's it going?
You have a great show. I'm a big fan.
Boing.
So what seems to be the problem here? This man looks like he's dead, and he's in the crackle.
Charbono! It's all about the charbono, dude!
Succulent fish. What?
He ate 2 feet for wieners.
Oh, listen, Lavernius, shut your face.
I'm shaking like a dog shit peach seeds.
We have top men working on it right now. Top men.
And just like that, we are into the second hour. It is the Barbecue Central Show, where we talk about all the important things, blah, blah, blah. If you're watching, good for you. YouTube poll question of the week. Have you followed a band around the country before? 95% of you are saying no, you have not. 5% of you have.
Boing.
Racing through the open here because you know you want it. The recap of the Jason Kaplan from the Howard Stern Show visit to Bomb City, USA before we get in to the Embedded Correspondents. By the way, we have a in-studio guest, Aaron Huntleman from Go Big or Go BBQ and Mister Brisket sitting in here this evening. He'll be up in just a few short minutes. So this past Friday rolls around, leaving work out of Broadview Heights around 3:30 and shooting up to downtown Cleveland, Bomb City, USA, where I meet up with our pal Jason Kaplan from the Howard Stern Show at the Schofield Hotel on East 9th Street. Strolling in to the foyer, I am only wondering, is this a catfish? I am happy to report this was not a catfish. It was indeed a genuine experience, which is absolutely fantastic. Number one, Jason looks exactly like I have seen him. Jason sounded exactly like I've seen him. He was getting shit from a bunch of guys on the show going, you're driving to Cleveland to meet some guy you've never met in person before. It could be a catfish. Could be a really hot chick drawing you in. I mean, is that an issue? Jason probably secretly wishing it was that kind of a catfish. Instead, he was stuck with me for the better part of 2 days. So we are off to East 4th Street. We take in a Mabel's barbecue dinner. And then the rain came, and it was not supposed to rain on Friday through all of the day until it decided to start raining, because that's what it does in Cleveland. And once the rain got through itself, about an hour or so later, We get into Nautica Stage. We take in a group called Goose, who I had never heard of before until Jason said that he was going to be coming to town because he follows that band around quite in earnest, and started sending me playlists. Look, I mean, if truth being told, am I a jam band guy? No, I'm not. I'm a hard rock guy, but I'm also a all music kind of guy. So I will say this, if you're going to see Goose and you can find a intimate setting like a Nautica Stage provides you right on the banks of the Cuyahoga River, probably looking at around 4,000 seats. Jason secured us really great VIP seating to get us right in through the big line, get our seats right away. And we were center on, 100 feet away or so from Goose. Jason surprised that we were actually that close and how intimate the setting was, and was able to give me the play-by-play of songs that were playing. There was a lot of just free-form dancing going on, a crowd that is very into one another. It appears that a lot of folks know other folks because many of these people are traveling around. A guy sitting next to me was from Baltimore. The guy sitting next to him was from Miami. And the guy sitting next to him was from New Mexico. And they all met each other following Goose around. And now the three of them make plans to go to various locations and meet up with each other and take in yet another Goose concert. Not uncommon. Completely foreign to me. But that's part and parcel of the Goose lifestyle. And everybody was having a great time. I will say this. For a four-piece band, the sound that they create is magical and very clean. The singer sounds great. From a music rating, I mean, it's 10 out of 10. The instrumentation is wonderful. The musicianship is great. I didn't know one of their songs, but nothing was offensive to me. They are long, but I guess that's the loveliness of what a jam band is all about. You think it's going to end, but no, they ramp it up a notch. And then you think it's going to end, and no, they ramp it up a notch. And then the crowd is buzzing and the lights are flashing, and it's quite a whole genuine scene that's going on there. So if you are into jam bands, you haven't seen a Goose concert, or you don't know about Goose, I would certainly recommend it. I give it 5 out of 5 stars for an experience at the least. And again, the music was great. And then Saturday, the bigger day, according to me, which is me having Jason come over to my house. I have 3 Wichita racks of ribs coming in from Mister Brisket, along with the chicken for the first time that I've seen, that absolutely blew my mind. And according to Jason, best ribs he has ever had in a home-cooked environment, and I will take it. Same process. Always the same process for me. I obviously have ribs dialed in at this point, and I'm very happy about that. And to have Jason, who is a very accomplished backyard cook himself, give his confirmation that what I am doing is winning his taste buds over, is certainly humbling to me. Plus, got to make Atomic Buffalo Turds for him, which I think was his first time having Atomic Buffalo Turds, or at least hearing him by that name. Bobby was also home for the weekend. Everybody knows that Bobby's favorite barbecue dish is Atomic Buffalo Turds. And as soon as she knew she might be able to finagle a way in to having me make Buffalo Turds, which was basically her saying, oh, well, you have your buddy Jason coming over. You should probably make Buffalo Turds too. And, oh, I would love them too. And I made like 30 or 40 Buffalo Turds. I said, look, you make them and I'll cook them. Like, I don't like making ABTs anymore. I mean, it's a process, and I don't like cutting the jalapenos and taking the guts out and washing them off and stuffing the thing, making the stuff. I know, like, big deal, right? But yeah, I mean, at the 10,000th time you've done it, becomes like, Aaron got sick of trimming chicken thighs. Like, it's the same thing for me. Doing Atomic Buffalo Turds. So I'm going to get ready to kill a fly here if you're wondering what I'm up to. So if I can figure out a way to... Missed it. So if I can figure out a way to outsource that work, which I thought I did for the most part, but when it came to the bacon wrapping, that's got to be done right. You wrap that turd too tight and it swells and pukes out during the cooking process. You'll lose a lot of the goodness. and Bobby was having a tough time, or maybe she was just faking having a good time because she knew after the third one I was going to take over because of my OCD tendencies that I know Doug Scheiding can certainly relate with. So I took it over, and I wrapped the rest of the 30 Atomic Buffalo turds. We got them on there, and they were stupendous. And I will wrap it up to say it this way. In a time and a space where you constantly hear, I met so-and-so, what a disappointment, or don't meet your heroes, or didn't meet expectation, or you throw the cliche out, or whatever the experts say. In this instance, it felt like I know Jason Kaplan and that we have been in-person friends for the better part of a decade, even though we've only been digital friends for the better part of a decade or maybe a little over. And it was completely natural, and like we had grown up with each other over the last 10 years through our life experience. And it was just further connected by finally being able to see him in person. Almost hooked up about 5 years ago. And I say hook up, not in that way, by the way, Steve. Almost met in person in New York City when Maddie had a modeling gig, but the Stern Show was out in California at that point. So missed that time, but 5 years later, we're able to reconnect here in Bomb City, USA. Better on my turf, always. That way I have complete control. So complete success, Jason. Appreciate you dropping through or coming through and having some barbecue food that we can make you in Willoughby, but also for visiting the fine city of Cleveland, Ohio, and enjoying Goose. Continue having a great time doing what you're doing. I'm a big fan of everything that you're doing, and look forward to the relationship that we have built over the years, continuing on into the future. All right, we are ready for the Embedded Correspondents segment. Before we do that, some of you might want to listen to this. Are you tired of diets that make you choose between good food and real results? You don't have to anymore. David McDowell has cracked the code. His personalized fat loss coaching for barbecue lovers lets you eat the food you love, like ribs, brisket, wings, Atomic Buffalo turds, and still lose weight, get lean, and feel amazing. It isn't some fad. It's a proven system that includes barbecue-friendly meal plans, tailored health strategies, and weekly check-ins. So you're never guessing, never alone, never forced to give up what you love. And if you want to be part of something bigger, to surround yourself with like-minded barbecue lovers who are dropping weight, getting stronger, and staying motivated, then online, the Barbecue Diet Group is where you need to go. Here's the deal. You can keep struggling on your own, or you can plug into a system that works. Join now, get exclusive access to expert coaching, real-world strategies, and a support crew that won't let you fail. You go to school.com/BBQ, school spelled SKOOL, school.com/BBQ right now, and take the first step. Because you can have your barbecue and your dream body, but you have to take action in order to do it. I'm starting week 15 on Saturday. You know it. I'm fit as a motherfucking fiddle. And David McDowell plays a big part in that, certainly. It is up to me to execute the plan, stay on track, and log and do what I need to do. But having a support person in David McDowell has certainly made it that much easier. Plus, gaining new insights each and every week with questions that I have. School, SKOOL.com/BBQ. We are back with the Embedded Correspondents right after this. Stick around. We'll be right back.
You're listening to the Barbecue Central Show. Howard Stern, Jim Rome, Dan Patrick, and Greg Rempe. The Mountain Rushmore of talk show entertainment. Now, let's get back to the Barbecue Central Show.
And we welcome you back for the Barbecue Central Show. It is the fourth Tuesday of a month. And boy, oh boy, that can only mean one thing in the second hour. It means what? We have a visit from the ever-famous and ever-beloved Embedded Correspondents and Aaron Huntleman down there. So I will make the introductions as I do each and every week. Just to the right of me is the longest-running embedded correspondent from Texas, Doug Scheiding, and to the right of him, the second longest-running embedded correspondent from Michigan, John Solberg. And directly below me is from the great city of Utah, Rusty Monson of Salt City Barbecue. Directly below our pal Doug Scheiding is Matt Osman from Tennessee, embedded correspondent from Tennessee, and looks to be in a new space as well, so that's neat. And, of course, sitting in studio today, the pitmaster of Go Big or Go BBQ, also associated with Mister Brisket as well, Aaron Huntleman, or Huntleman, depending on what you would like. So we have a YouTube poll question of the week, gents, before we get into the litany of 100% Assurity questions. We're asking everybody this, including all guests. So, Doug, we start with you tonight. Have you ever followed a band around the country before, yes or no?
By follow, what is the cutoff, up or down?
Have you ever went to an additional state out of the state that you're in to go see the same band again?
Yes, Motley Crue.
Weird. John?
No. And yeah, that is weird.
Rusty?
Yeah, we went to 9 shows traveling in Salween.
Baby bitch
Whoa.
is the best. Confirmed?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, there's a
Barbecue
lot of good
Idol.
ones that's up there.
That's right. Yeah, Rusty musically talented. Matt, traveling around the country with a band?
By that definition, yes. Sound Tribe Sector 9, also a jam band.
All right, never heard of them. Aaron?
No.
Right, no. Couldn't say no fast enough, by the way, just like John. So above and below at the same time? Me? No. Absolutely not. If it's not coming to Cleveland, I am not coming to you. I can tell you that. All right, we have a whole bunch of 100% Assurity questions. And if you didn't notice, gang, something was a little different this month. On purpose, I reserved the 100% Assurity questions, so everybody's getting it for the first time as I puke these words out of my mouth just to see if anything better or worse happens. What? I mean, you got to keep it changing. Isn't that what Hank says, Aaron? You got to keep it changing up or whatever he says. What was the business advice?
Oh, you gotta people vote with their dollars.
People vote with their dollars. That's right. Well, people don't pay anything for this show, so I probably made a huge mistake already, but that's all right. We'll try it anyway. Doug, let's start with you. 100% yes or 100% no. You thought Malcolm Reed took a small run at Memphis in May, and the judging being a bit fixed.
Yes, that's why he hasn't entered for 2 years.
John, Malcolm takes a run at Memphis in May judging.
Yes.
Yes. All right. Rusty?
No.
No. Matt, Malcolm took a small run at Memphis in May, and judging being a bit fixed.
100% yes. If you know, you know.
Aaron?
I've heard yes.
I'm going to go with a yes, too, and I think it was a little bit more of a well-placed run, if you know what I mean. So everybody but Rusty on the yes train, but that's all right. We have this question for John. John, 100% yes or 100% no, you have used Malcolm Reed's rubs before.
Yes, I have.
Rusty, you've used Malcolm Reed's rubs before.
A lot, and we use them on SCA a lot too.
Matt, Malcolm's rubs?
100% yes.
Aaron?
Yes.
Very quick. Doug?
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry. I have to. It's unanimous. Everybody has used Malcolm's rubs. All right, now I'm interested to hear this follow-up question, which is to Rusty. Rusty, 100% yes or 100% no. You have used Heath Ryle's rubs before, yes or no?
Yeah. In competition and at home. Yes, all the time.
Matt?
100% yes as a 2025 ambassador.
Right. Oh, right. That's right. Aaron?
2025 ambassador here, yes.
Right. Suck asses abound. Doug, you've used Heath Ryle's rubs.
Yes, I have.
Right. I thought you would definitely be a no. John?
No on rub, yes on sauce.
Okay, so it's no. And I am agreeing with John. Not used Heath Riles rubs. All right. A little more. I thought we might be at 50-50 or less, so we're a little bit more than 50-50. Matt Osmond. Matt, 100% yes or 100% no. Meathead should be removed from the guest roster after missing this month's segment with a no-call, no-show.
Baseball rules apply. Third strikes and you're out. 100% yes.
Yes, all right. Aaron, do we want to kick Meathead out?
He gone.
He gone. Wow.
I'll take his spot.
Brutality. We're not pitching ourselves. Doug, 100% yes or 100% no. Meathead should be removed from the guest roster after missing this month's segment with a no-call, no-show.
I thought he was an excused absence at the hospital. No?
But he didn't call.
No.
Okay.
He's at the hospital. No.
John, remove Meathead?
No, Meathead's not going anywhere. It's like he's Meathead. No. It's like
Rusty, remove Meathead.
The fuck? He's at the hospital. I think he should be removed, but not for that. No.
Oh, he should be removed. All right.
What? That's a
But
yes.
I did let you know I was in the hospital, and I did communicate that days before.
And you still showed up. I think weren't you like 6 minutes outside of the hospital?
Yeah, the day of getting out.
Drove from the
2
hospital
hours.
to the microphone. That's what a man does. I'm not.
So if he
kicking,
gets a doctor's note?
yeah, I'm not kicking Meathead out of the show. He was in the hospital. Any other no call, no show, then yeah, you're probably out. But if you're in the hospital and you're a bad way, and a older, gentler me is a little bit more forgiving than 10 years ago or 15 years ago. We'll say it like that. All right, Aaron, to you. 100% yes or 100% no. Aaron, Robert Moss is correct when he says the love of brisket has jumped the shark in 2025.
I think yes.
Doug, brisket has jumped the shark.
No.
John, brisket has jumped the shark.
100% yes. I haven't seen anybody cook a brisket on social media in a minute.
Rusty, brisket has jumped the shark.
No, because all the people that are behind, which is the 99%, are still yet to catch up.
Matt, Robert Moss is correct when he says the love of brisket has jumped the shark in 2025.
Yeah, 100% no.
I agree with the 100% no's. I know we want it to be true, but brisket still remains to be incredibly popular. Like John, I do see them hellaciously all over my Instagram feeds and other feeds. They're still cutting them in half. They're still squeezing the shit out of them. They're still cooking them the same way. It's like the thing you just can't get away from. But by and large, when I continue to ask people, what barbecue do you like the best? I'm not talking about us gals here on the dais. I'm just talking about everyday ham and eggers. What do they want? They want brisket, and it's not even close on what comes in second place here. So brisket remains as non-jump the shark as Robert Moss wants it to be, but good question to ask just in case. Go ahead, Matt.
Rusty, this for you. Do you sell out a brisket first at any location?
We sell brisket all the time because everyone's from Texas and they want the brisket. And you can tell if a good barbecue restaurant by the brisket.
Do you sell out a brisket?
Yeah, we sell out. We sold out just now. Just got a text 10 minutes ago or 15 minutes ago.
Yeah.
We sell a lot of brisket.
At Mister Brisket?
Yeah, it's in the name.
Away. All right. All right, dad joke. And this is Aaron's last in-studio appearance, in case you were wondering. This is an open mic night, Aaron.
Go back to your
wait
dark
till we ask
basement.
your questions and then answer. All right, Doug, we'll go back to you. 100% yes or 100% no. Barbecue side dish segments with Robert Moss are nearly as cool as barbecue meat history.
Yes, because he mixes history in with the side dish.
All right, John, the barbecue side dish content, not nearly as cool as barbecue meat content.
Coin toss. I'm going to go yes.
Yes. Rusty, barbecue side dish segments, not as cool as barbecue meat.
I'm with John. That one's a hard one, but yeah.
Matt?
Let's make it a three-peat. I wish there was another option, but I'll say 100% no if I have to lean one way.
All right. So everybody else said yes, by the way. So, Aaron, barbecue side dish, not as cool as content, not nearly as cool as barbecue meat content.
Yes.
Yes. All right. The answer is no. Barbecue side dish content, highly encouraging, and I'm just completely... Who knew about banana pudding? Now I know all about banana pudding. As much as I love it, there was something that I never knew about banana pudding that I learned just this month. So, in my estimation, and it's my show, this content is completely engaging, even more than barbecue is. And, of course, we all know it's better than the Michelin Star Guide content. We don't even have to circle back on that. Doug, go ahead.
My wife has started making banana pudding cheesecake.
Yeah.
For her turn-ins for her dessert in competition.
Is she getting calls?
Yeah, she got second out of 300 teams at the San Antonio Rodeo and 20th in Houston.
Wow.
So
pretty good. All right, John, we'll go to you. John, 100% yes or 100% no. You knew about the grill fighter brush before Marvin Weinberger was on the show this month.
I did not. 100% no.
Rusty, you knew about Grill Fighter.
No, 100%.
Matt, you knew about the Grill Fighter grill brush.
100% no.
No. Aaron?
Nope.
Doug, you knew about the Grill Fighter grill brush before Marvin Weinberger was on the show this month.
Yeah, never heard of it. Nope.
Oh, you son of a... All right, I'm going to go ahead and be the unanimous on this one, too. I never heard of it. Follow-up question to Rusty. I mean, I think this is going to be too much for Mr. Positivity here, but I don't want to get over my skis too quickly. Rusty, 100% yes or 100% no. You would pay $80 retail for a grill brush.
No. No, 100% no.
Right. I was right. Matt, $80 for a grill brush?
If and only if it's the last one I have to buy. 100% yes.
Yes. Okay. Aaron?
No.
Doug, you would pay $80 retail for a grill brush. Finish. John, you would pay $80 retail for a grill brush.
100% no.
Nope. I thought about this long and hard as I was constructing this question, and I had myself talked into it at least 17 times, but the answer is no. I agree with Matt. If you could guarantee me, or if I bought it, it came with the lifetime guarantee. If you break it, send it in. We'll evaluate. We'll send you back a new one, and you never have to buy it again. Then I would buy it for $80, no doubt about it. But I don't think that guarantee comes with it. I am talking about the Grill Fighter, which I think, by the way, is the best grill brush that is currently available on the market today. And I believe Marvin might have dropped the retail package price, maybe for a limited time. So let me ask you this. For a limited time, would you buy that Grill Fighter brush not for $80, but for $59, Doug?
Nope.
Nope. John?
I will go buy one right this minute for $59 just to drive it.
Right.
Talk about it later.
Rusty, $59.
Well, where are they? You can't even find them.
I can get you a link. If you're interested, I can get you a link. Oh, I feel Rusty might be frozen. He hasn't moved from...
No, I'm Googling it.
Sorry. $59 for a grill fight.
What this thing is.
It's the chainmail.
I don't think so.
No? All right. Not for $59?
I don't know.
Matt, for $59, even though you were a buyer at $80?
I know what I'm getting you for your birthday.
Aaron, $59 grill brush.
No, still no.
Right? So I am a buyer at $59. Absolutely. Let's go to... I forgot who I left off with. Did I just do you, John? Or I was Rusty, right? Who did I just ask the grill fryer to brush to? Rusty. All right, Matt, Rusty. Let's go to you. 100% yes or 100% no. You have seared first and then finished the rest of the cooking process in sous vide before.
Yes. Yes.
Are you lying?
No,
I feel
I
like
had
you
to
know.
think of,
I feel like you know if you've done this before. You don't need to think about it.
My first cook at Memphis in May, I was in charge of an ancillary, and I had somebody help, and that's the method we used, which I had. That was the pause, is remembering if, in fact, we did that process. Yes, we did.
Sear first, sous vide finish.
Correct.
All right. Aaron?
Yes, on a chuck roast.
Doug, you have seared first and then finished the rest of the cooking process in sous vide before.
Nope.
Johnny Boy?
No.
Rusty!
Yeah, lots of times it's awesome. It's really good.
I hate to show my ass here. I didn't even know that was an option. You know me. Like, you got to tell me what to do. I'm no creative thinker. I'm not outside the box. I don't go around the grocery store going, oh, look at all these magical ingredients. I can probably make XYZ with this. Hold your can up. Anybody guess what kind of pop that is? Hold on.
Can't see
Mountain
it.
Dew. Of course, because it's Mountain Dew. Can't see it. It's blended in with a green screen, of course. Little green screen magic right there. Yeah, I didn't know that that was even allowed in the rules, that you could sear the meat first, raw, and then put it in sous vide. Go ahead, Aaron.
Yeah, so what I've been explained to is on a long sous vide, it helps hold in the juices and it helps with the growth of the bacteria growth, like for the low temperature, because sometimes you'll get like that blue cheese smell on a longer sous vide.
How long sous vide are you doing?
I think I did a chuck roast for like 36 hours when I first got it. I mean, it was weird. I didn't die.
You're here.
There I am, allegedly.
Huh. Well, John, you said you've done this before? You have not?
No, I have not.
Are you open to it?
Yeah, I think you can sear on the front or the back, even though that may not be a popular opinion.
Yep.
Either way works.
Doug, have you found that searing first and then finishing in the sous vide, if you're doing steaks, for instance, does decrease the amount of purge in the bag, as stated by the guy at Grill Gun?
I've never tried that, and I would highly doubt that it stops the purge, because you're destroying the meat fibers, and they're losing their ability to retain moisture. So I would say no. I think scientifically, no.
All right, let me mark my spot here. We'll come back and do more 100% Assurity questions. Okay, hold on.
Maddie.
Hold on. Give me a sec. Go ahead, Matt.
If I'm not mistaken, I believe it was Mark Williams who sous vide a brisket that process and took it to like a almost mid-rare color and said it was one of the best briskets he's ever had.
From Swine Life?
I believe he... Yes, sir. And I could be wrong with searing or smoking, if you will, first and then sous vide, but it was like a 72-hour brisket, if I'm not mistaken.
Aaron, you were agreeing. What do you know?
I think I remember reading about that or hearing about it with him, but it's kind of the same thing. I did the chuck roast to like a mid-rare. It cut like a prime rib.
Looks weird on the inside. Not what you would normally expect. All right, guys, take a break here, and then when we come back, we'll finish through the rest of these 100% Assurity questions. Before we do that, I will talk to you quickly about Green Mountain Grills. You know, for 17 years, Green Mountain Grill has brought the smoke to the competition world and the backyards all over the world. There was a lot of worlds right there. Their Venturi-style firebox delivers the cleanest 150-degree smoke in the pellet game, no questioning that. The new redesigned 2025 Prime 2.0 pellet grill blends the proven technology of the past with the technology of the future Green Mountain Grill, the original innovator in all things Wi-Fi, continuing to give their user granular options to control your grill in any environment from anywhere. Green Mountain Grill also leading the pack in accessory creation, from their pizza attachments that deliver pizza in 2 minutes to rotisseries to add-on side burners. Check out the new 2.0 Green Mountain Grill at greenmountaingrills.com. That's greenmountaingrills.com. We are back with more Embedded Correspondents and an in-studio Aaron Huntleman from Go Big or Go BBQ. Stick around. We'll be right back.
You're listening to the Barbecue Central Show. Whole packers, full racks, legs and thighs, injecting butts. If you've never heard this before, you might think you found the best XXX show ever. Let's get back to the most homoerotic host out there today, Craig Rimpey.
And we welcome you back. This portion of the show brought to you by McAllis Cigars, where each blend is a chapter in a grand tale of craftsmanship and passion. Portfolio is a symphony of flavors, giving you an unforgettable Nicaraguan smoking experience. McAllesCigars.com, the website, MICALLEF, cigars.com. Use a locator to find a retailer near you, and might I suggest a McAuliffe Red this time around. Delish. Just had one in the mobile lounge on the way to the office this morning. Hey-o. Bringing back in the Embedded Correspondents and punching sound up on Aaron Huntleman, in-studio guest. All right, let's just start right back from the beginning here so I don't have to figure out where I left off. Doug, 100% yes or 100% no, sous vide is dumb. Are you on mute?
I'm dumb for having the mute on. No, it's not dumb.
Right. Yeah. John, sous vide is dumb.
It is not done. It is an amazing tool. Dumb.
Rusty,
it's not.
Sous vide is dumb.
Hell no, it's awesome. It's way cool.
Awesome. Matt Osmond, sous vide is dumb.
100% no.
Oh. Not the way I thought it was going to go. Aaron, sous vide is dumb.
Nope.
All right. I'm not bucking the trend here. Sous vide is not dumb. I use it quite often, and I'm a big fan. I thought one of you guys was going to say yes. You hardcore barbecue guy. 100% yes or 100% no. John, you knew who Chris Prieto was before he hit the show this month.
Not a clue.
A clue? Right. Rusty, you know Chris Prieto.
No, I did not.
Matt?
Nope.
Aaron?
Nope.
Doug, you're my only hope. You knew who Chris Prieto was before he hit the show this month.
Yes.
Yes. I'm ashamed to say that I didn't know who he was before his PR person got in contact with me, only to be mightily humbled as we were sound checking when he started pulling out the fact that he had been listening to me ever since the show originated in podcast fashion back in 2006, and would burn DVDs of old shows to take to competitions and listen to them before he went night-night and started the big competitions the next day. So perhaps I have found the longest-running fan of the show by sheer happenstance, but certainly appreciate him coming on and talking about that. But I did not know who Chris was before he was on the show a week ago, I believe it was. So we will go to Rusty. Rusty, you were aware of the restaurant Prime Barbecue before this month.
No, I was not.
No. Matt, Prime Barbecue.
Oddly, yes.
Oddly indeed. Aaron?
Yeah.
Doug?
No, I wasn't.
But you knew Chris before.
I did.
Weird.
Through some competition stuff.
Right. John, you knew about Prime
I didn't
Barbecue.
No.
Okay. Rusty, did you want to add something?
I'm changing both my answers to yes. I was just Googling it, and yes, I absolutely know who he is, and I know what Prime Barbecue is.
Oh,
yes.
All right. Well, for the folks that knew who he was, but then didn't know the other one, like I don't understand how you could know one and not the other. Doug, explain yourself.
Well, I knew him
just because
stuff
competition
years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't know he was a chef, restaurant, anything like that. No.
So I didn't know Chris before the show, but I did know Prime Barbecue before because Robert Moss had mentioned it at least a few times in his top 50 Southern Living barbecue lists. And then I believe last year when Daniel Vaughn released the, I don't know, was it 50 best or 20 best Texas barbecue restaurants outside of Texas? He was number 2, just beat out by, who was it? Palmyra down there. I think that's in North Carolina too, or maybe it's in Georgia. But he was number 1 all the way up until Palmyra barbecue came into play. So I am one of those guys as well. Matt, 100% yes or 100% no. You like the term pitmaster?
100% yes.
Aaron?
Yes.
Doug, you like the term pitmaster?
Yes, absolutely, I do.
John, you like the term pitmaster?
I'm gonna go no. No.
Right. Rusty, you like the term pitmaster?
Fuck no. Stupid.
Right. Well, half of us are on the same team of yeses, and half of us are on the same team as no's. I am on the no's. I think pitmaster is a terrible term. I think it's an unquantifiable term. There is no way to prove you're a pitmaster, or if you are not a pitmaster, who was to call you a pitmaster? How do you achieve pitmastership? It is a word. I don't even understand it. We should drop it from the American lexicon. It should be banished. It should be a foreign swear word that we should never use again. Matt, go ahead.
How is it not definitive? How is it not deserving?
Right.
If you can
master
a pit.
Who says you can master a pit? How do you quantify that?
Okay, very simply.
Okay.
It ran well, said pit.
Yes.
You performed within its bounds or above its bounds and ability. Additionally, what said food was on the pit was cooked to your liking over and over and over. Meaning not just a one-time sample, multiplicities using same pit, and you have mastered that pit.
And you can be a pit master if you have a pellet cooker?
That's not a pit.
Oh, I see. So now we're throwing in qualifications. Or this is exactly what I'm talking about. I mean, give me a break. This is why pitmaster is not allowed. I mean, why can't you be a pitmaster?
Okay, define chef then.
A chef is somebody that goes to culinary school and graduates with a fucking degree.
Always?
Everybody else is
Always and forever?
Always and forever. If you never went to culinary school and you call yourself a chef, guess what? Shut the fuck up. You did not. If I go around and call myself a general or a lieutenant and I was never in the military, is that okay?
Well, Malcolm's a colonel by state of Kentucky.
He's not.
No, he's been coloneled by the state of Kentucky. He's got his
okay. Okay. Then he has the paperwork to prove it.
Okay.
All right. Go ahead, Doug.
No. If we're gonna, I'm flummoxed by this whole thing.
Flummoxed.
Head chef or a chef. Flummoxed. Thank you. The chef. You can be a chef if you're ordering people around in a restaurant. Is that true or not true?
No, you can only be a chef.
Of a chef.
You can only be a chef if you have graduated from the Culinary Institute of Americas with your degree and you have attained the level of a chef. Just because you've cooked for a long time doesn't make you a chef.
If you're in a restaurant, then you would call that person the head cook because they're in charge of staff, they're in charge of costs, they're in charge of all those things. So would that be a head cook if they didn't go to chef school?
It would be like
I would call that that person a chef.
Kitchen manager.
So I'd call him a head cook. So to me, that has more than a pitmaster. A pitmaster comes from competition, in my view, fire management, know how to prep, and they know how to plan it out and get it done. So I think.
John's
Am I boring
loading,
you, John? I'm
John
sorry.
loading his six-shooter, and he's going to end his life.
Yeah, I'm like, this is the dumbest shit ever.
Here's a legitimate question.
John, it's your fault, John. You played the best moments. What defines a pitmaster? Now we're running down the snake hole or the rabbit hole. This is because of you.
Doesn't necessarily know how to cook barbecue, and a pitmaster specifies the ability to cook barbecue and not some French cuisine, whatever. So I think it's a good term. I think it's better than master barbecuer. Beef. I saw Jess Pryles today. Beef chief. That she had on today, and so and John, I think you're not giving yourself enough credit in calling yourself a pit runner. Done.
I think that's a good pit runner is an appropriate term, especially in the commercial world. That's what I did. Yeah, I did everything, but I ran a pit. And while they gave me the title of that stores, I was at a pitmaster by title. I wouldn't accept it. I'm a pit runner.
Aaron, what do you think about pitmaster?
Well, I will say I graduated from culinary school, and I don't consider myself to be called a chef.
You could be.
I could be. If you're if you're a restaurant and you're hiring me to be your chef, then I would accept that title. But I don't walk around going, well, I went to culinary school, here's my degree, and you can call me chef. I do agree that the pit master is, learning your pits and doing that. But I don't go around saying, oh, I'm a pit master at Mister Brisket. We run Rectex. I turn a knob. Like,
Rusty, weigh in.
All right, so Escoffier is one that came up with this whole thing, and it was a brigade system, and it's just like the military. Just because you go to military training doesn't mean you're the general, right? So you put people in places, and that's where they belong, and you answer to X, to X, to X, to X, to Y, and that's where it comes from. It's not because you went to culinary school that you're a chef. It's just you're the leader of the kitchen. That's what it is. It's a brigade system. So if you go to culinary school, you're not a chef. If you lead a brigade system, you're a chef. It's an overused term. Pitmaster is an overused term, and I think they're all just way overused when you're calling some random. I mean, I get called chef all the time. I'm a cook, man. I just cook food. That's all I do. I'm no damn chef. My team runs the show, not me. So it's like, it's a brigade thing. If you want to get back into it, that's where it began. That's where it was for so long until television came along, and then everyone's a fucking chef.
Go ahead.
Well, what defines an influencer then? You got to throw that in there.
Oh, no, we're not getting into that. We're not getting into that. Go ahead, Matt, go ahead.
So real quick, 2 personal notes. Good friend of mine since 3rd grade, works at a fancy hotel in Savannah, Georgia. He is the executive chef, not a day in culinary school. Cut his teeth through restaurant and industry, etc. I call him a chef, not just because he's now the executive chef of this hotel, but B, because I feel like his talent over tenure, etc., he is a chef. That's my opinion. Number 2, I'm doing this whole hog thing. They listed me as a chef in there, and I reached out and say, hey guys, whoa, no. Like, that is not my title, not even close to it. But for a publicist and a marketing, whatever, do what you have to do. But I am not a chef.
We move on. Aaron, 100% yes or 100% no. The Texas monthly top 50 barbecue joints list matters to you.
Yes.
Yes. Doug, matters to you?
Yes, it does.
John, top 50 matters to you?
Fuck no. What the fuck? No. Doesn't matter. I'm not in Texas.
Rusty, Texas top 50 matters to you?
Yeah, they put a lot of work in that. It's a good deal.
Matt, you like Texas top 50?
100%. Good buddy of mine just drove 11 hours to get brunch on Sunday in Michigan.
Yeah, from a content standpoint, and if I go to Texas, which unfortunately I have to do on a semi-frequent basis, yes, Texas top 50 matters to me because of where I might want to eat. 100% yes to 100% no. Doug, serious pitmasters are jealous of the success that influencers have achieved and dismiss them as hacks.
I can't agree with jealous, so I have to say no on that.
Oh, right. John, pitmasters are jealous of influencers.
Oh, What's a pitmaster? Jesus Christ, you're ripping my brain open here. What the fuck?
We have to get past it. Short-term
I know.
Short-term memory.
I'm gonna go yes.
Yes.
Pitmasters are jealous of influencers.
Rusty, pitmasters are jealous of the success influencers have achieved and dismiss them as hacks.
They shouldn't be, because everyone has a place in this world. So you suck it up.
That's not yes or no.
It's what was the question? I think it's a no.
Pitmasters are jealous
They
of influencers.
Yeah, if
No.
they are, sure. No,
Yes.
they shouldn't be. I'm going to say no. You shouldn't be. Stop
Okay, and now we're changing to no. Thank you, Rusty. Remember, it's 100% yes or 100% no. Those are your answers only. Matt, series pitmasters jealous of the success influencers have and dismiss them as hacks.
100% no. Only the jealous ones and broke ones.
Right. Aaron?
No.
No? Yes, the answer is yes. There are a lot of serious pitmasters out there who are jealous of what the influencer have achieved, immediately dismissing them as hacks. Rule number 1 of the show, no names. Please. John, 100% yes or 100% no. One of the best inventions in competition barbecue over the past 10 years has been the Mister Brisket competition box.
100% yes.
Yes, of course. Rusty, competition box?
Greatest invention? No, but it's cool as hell.
Wait. I said one of the best inventions.
Then yes.
Yes.
I've
all right.
heard many great things.
Matt, one of the best inventions, the competition box from Mr. Brisket.
100% yes.
Right. Doug?
I'm going to say no on that. No.
Dick. I'm going to say yes. That's pretty fucking cool. Aaron, 100% yes or 100% no?
I mean, I gotta say yes.
Yes? I mean, you don't have to, I guess.
I made it up, so.
All right, Doug, what do you hate about Mr. Brisket's competition box?
I am the guy that when you go to the contest, and this is from a guy that cooks on a pellet cooker now, but when you go to the contest, none of your meats should be trimmed. That you need to trim them all at the contest and do it there. So that's where I come from. It just makes people even lazier. And I can't even believe someone would pawn off their ability to cut their own meat and have someone else do it for them.
Yes, but looking outside of your own box that you live in, if we're looking at the industry as a whole, it is not one of the best inventions. Otherwise, I mean, Americans innately lazy, innately looking to have somebody else do it. Everything,
it's
do it for me, do it for me.
Contributing to laziness. No,
yes. But
no.
I mean, this is where we're at. So accept it and then give the right answer. Is it a one of the best inventions? Yes or no?
No.
Remaining with no.
It's promoting laziness. No.
So
go ahead, Matt.
As somebody who I've talked to Doug about my chicken struggles, Mr. Brisket is going to get my chicken business because I'm going to switch to thighs. That being said, little perturbed that a order got delayed, but that's neither here nor there. But I would say definitely back to Doug.
Matt, hold on. Hold on. On the phone, we have Mr. Brisket customer service. Aaron, can you please help?
Hola, Mr. Osmond.
Can you please help Matt out with his issue?
Yeah.
What's the fucking problem?
What did we miss?
What's the problem?
Old Booger Bear put in a pork order.
Okay. So it's Old Booger Bear's problem. It's not your
Which
problem.
I'm a part of.
No, you're not. It's not your team. All right, next question.
Hold on. Back to Doug's question. Okay.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Oh, well, pre-trimming your meat is actually a fantastic thing for those who may not be able to get there Thursday night or Friday mid-morning, who are running on a timely basis. So if you're allowed to pre-trim it, you should and could. That's a fantastic comp for me. When I actually have time to trim all 4 meats, it's in the bag at that point.
So
go ahead.
So what I've always pitched on this is you don't have to be the best mechanic to be the greatest race car driver. You should know how to work on like your own car. But I think, Jimmy Johnson's not showing up and working on his engine on race day. That's how I've always pitched, like, the comp box and everything there. You show up with the best products that we can put forward for you, and you just go with it and run with it. I get where Doug's coming from, but we do sell guys untrimmed comp boxes too. So there you go.
Rusty, you have anything to add?
Well, Doug's got to get a job, and then maybe he'll need that. Okay, that's what I said.
Yeah,
I have
Richie.
3 jobs. I have 3 jobs.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Rusty's just having a little fun.
And I have OCD tendencies, and I'm not
Yes.
sure people will do it as best as I would.
Yeah, Doug would buy the competition trim box. He would pull everything out and then retrim everything that's already be trimmed. And let's be real on that. We know.
Did we do this with the cleaning grills?
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. Next question, Rusty, 100% yes or 100% no. Had the Mister Brisket competition box been around 10 years ago, it would have cornered the competition meat market.
100% yes.
Yes. Matt?
That's 2014. Yeah, all day.
Aaron?
100%.
I think so.
Yeah. Doug?
Yeah, I'll agree with that.
John?
Oh, that would have altered the history of barbecue forever. Yes. Oh my God.
Yeah. I think all it would have taken is for one of those guys, back then, to have used it, and then
day late, $1 short.
Would have been whatever Blues Hog is, the barbecue sauce. The competition box would have been to meat, no doubt about it. You would be in the Hall of Fame already. Aaron. How about that? You weren't even born then. All right, 100% yes or 100% no. Aaron, KCBS should renew the contract of the current CEO.
Since he texts me, yes.
Yes. Doug, KCBS should renew the contract of the current CEO.
I'm not special like Aaron, so I'm going to say no.
John? Oh, wait,
go.
sorry. Okay. I know how to answer that. Rusty?
100% yes.
Yes. Matt, KCBS should renew the current contract of the CEO.
Is not answering an option?
No, answer.
No.
We're courageous on this show.
100% no.
No. And I'm with you guys, 100% no. Nothing against the current CEO other than I haven't heard anything in 4 years, other than a couple debacles, but haven't heard anything else. So to me, not good enough. We need something else. 100% yes to 100% no. Aaron, you have the lab-based meat industry is dead.
Yes.
Yes. Doug, lab-based meat, dead.
Thankfully, it's dying in the lab, yes.
John?
I believe it is for a while. It will be seen again in the future, but dead for now.
All right. Rusty, dead?
It's not dead, no. 100% no.
Uh-huh. Matt, lab-based meat is dead?
I can't say it was actually ever alive. So, yeah, it's 100% dead.
Yes, all right. According to my first hour guest, alive and well. So, not dead and working in the background and will potentially be a savior in years to come. So, sorry about that. Everybody go back and listen to Mike Grunwald at 9:14, and maybe you will have a different answer next month when I ask it again. Doug, 100% yes or 100% no. You have made or will make cowboy butter in 2025.
Yes.
John?
100% no.
Rusty?
Yeah, it's so good.
So good.
100% yeah.
Matt, cowboy butter?
2.8 million % yes.
Yes. Wow. That's a lot of percents. Aaron?
Yes.
And I've already made it. So with the Jess Pryles cowboy butter rub and add your own soft butter, and it was good. I wasn't aware of that being a thing otherwise, but all right. 100% yes to 100% no. Rusty, Matt Osmond reached out to Sam the cooking guy shortly after the bet expired to pay off. And Sam the cooking guy has yet to respond.
100% yes. I believe in Matt.
Wow. Right. Aaron?
Yes.
Doug?
It's a good question. I'm going to say yes.
John?
I'm just gonna say no because I want to watch Matt's head explode as he's dancing around the screen.
Yes. Well, I mean, I happen to know both of these guys. I have never known Sam to welch on a bet, so I'm going to call bullshit on Matt. He's trying to make himself look good. So we'll follow up on that. 100% yes or 100% no, Matt. Greg is wrong about the Weber Ranch kettle not making a comeback.
1,000,000,000,000,000% yes.
Yes, all right. That's even more than whatever the...
Yes, the cowboy butter.
Chewy is on Aaron.
We got a cat.
Pick that cat off of you, Aaron, and throw him on the ground and strangle him on the way down.
Oh,
kill that cat.
He's gonna pee on you.
Go pee.
So Aaron Matt says yes. Aaron, Greg is wrong about the Weber Ranch kettle not making a comeback.
I've seen enough posts to say you were wrong.
Yes, all right. And Doug, I'm wrong about the Weber Ranch kettle.
I guess I haven't seen any posts, so would that be no? Is this a double negative?
No,
Yeah.
you're right. No, yeah.
I've seen yeah. So okay, no.
John, I'm wrong about the Weber Ranch kettle not making a comeback.
No, you're right. There's no comeback to come back from.
Right.
It's the same market as always.
Rusty?
Yes, 100% yes.
All right.
I hope it does.
Look, I'm here to tell you that just because Tuffy Stone got a Weber Ranch kettle from Weber and didn't tell anybody that, it was given to him, but okay, whatever. That doesn't mean that the Weber kettle is making a comeback. Because one person has it doesn't mean it's making a comeback. If 2 people showed it on their Instagram feed, that doesn't mean it's making a comeback. No influencers are using the Weber Ranch kettle. There isn't a litany of Weber Ranch kettles being distributed across the influencer world to call it a comeback. One person having it and showing it on their Instagram feed is not.
Andrew,
it is not a comeback. It's not. Go ahead, Matt.
So it was multiple people, and I believe it actually started
Name them.
when Smitty at
I have no idea who that is.
Luton Booty Barbecue.
All right.
Sterling Smith.
Yep, one.
Correct. Cooked a whole hog in mid
Okay, that's one.
2024.
Next one.
Okay. Tuffy Stone.
2.
Al Fragoni.
Yep.
Weber did a thing on itself. Mike Lang is, as far as I understand, shooting content here to be released again.
Works for Weber.
And yeah.
Okay, so
It
we
is
have 5
relative
people.
again.
We have 5 people. Guess what? Not a comeback. Until it gets to the level of Traeger, with their 18,000
That's the benchmark?
influencers. Of course. 5 people does not constitute a comeback. I'm sorry.
What if they're 5 big ones?
They're not. Those people are not 5 big ones.
They got them for free.
Doug's
We got to
gonna do
get
one
through
on
these
his.
questions for crying out loud. 100% yes or 100% no. Doug, you've heard of the name. I'm sorry. You've heard of the band Goose before.
Before your conversations and
Yep.
getting together.
Yep.
With no.
No. John, you've heard of Goose.
No.
Rusty, Goose.
No, I have not.
Matt?
Once in the 80s. No, never.
Oh,
I had not.
Aaron?
Duck, no.
No. Duck, no. All right.
Love it.
Before Jason, no. Never heard. 100% yes or 100% no. Jam bands are great.
100% no. Not for me.
Rusty?
It begins and fucking ends at the Grateful Dead, and after that, it's fucking trash.
That's not an answer.
You got my answer.
That was an F no.
Okay.
That was an F no.
All right. Because they're a jam band, right? Isn't Grateful? So, I mean, like,
They're
that
the
would
key- they're
mean
the
yes,
first
right?
jam
Jam
band. They're the
band.
beginning of it all.
Okay. Matt, jam bands are great.
Oh.
All day and all night.
All right. And
100%.
Aaron, jam bands are great.
Jelly's better. No.
No. Jelly's better. Okay. Very funny. Still with the dad jokes, I see. I'm going no. I appreciate what they're doing, but I don't find them to be great. All right, we're getting there. Only a couple left. Doug, we'll start back with you because I lose track always. 100% yes or 100% no. Watermelon sucks.
Yes, it sucks.
John, watermelon sucks.
No, it does not.
Rusty, watermelon sucks.
The fuck is your problem? Hell no, it's the best.
It's a question.
Yes,
it's not my
100%.
problem. Oh, wait. Oh, okay. Matt, watermelon sucks.
No, it doesn't.
Nope. Aaron?
Nope.
Bad news. Watermelon sucks. It's the worst. Only onions are worse. I might eat watermelon before I eat onions. I will definitely eat watermelon before coconut. Coconut is worse than onions. 100% yes or 100% no. John, you have been to the Bahamas.
100% no.
Nope. Uh-oh. And Rusty, you've been to the Bahamas?
Twice.
Ooh, nice.
Matt, Bahamas?
One up thrice.
And Aaron, Bahamas?
Not even Bahama Breeze.
Matt, or Doug, Bahamas?
Uno, yes.
John, Bahamas?
I said no, but is Puerto Rico in the Bahamas? I don't think so. I stop in Puerto Rico. I never get any further.
Puerto Rico and the Bahamas. Bahamas is an island, John.
It's a bunch of islands, dude. It's like, well, Puerto Rico is an island. I didn't know where they begin.
No. I have been to the Bahamas, of course. No surprise to anybody else. Rusty, 100% yes or 100% no. Banana pudding is the best barbecue side, period.
It's close, but 100% no.
Matt, banana pudding, the best.
100% no. Green beans are.
Aaron?
No.
Doug?
No way.
John, banana pudding, best side.
Yeah, you get to pick one side for barbecue forever. It's banana pudding, so I got to go with yes.
Yes, John is correct. 100%. It is the banana pudding. Oh, yeah. Last question.
No.
We can agree to disagree, Doug. 100% yes or 100% no. Doug, we'll go back to you. I ran a 5K this past weekend, and the time was over 25 minutes. 5K, by the way, 3.2 miles, for those that are wondering.
No way. Not even close. No.
Wait.
No
Not even
way.
close. You're saying I ran it sub 25 or I ran it more than 25?
Yeah, 3 miles.
I ran a
Yeah,
5K this past weekend. My time was over 25 minutes.
No, it was not. It was under 25 minutes.
John, over 25 minutes.
No, it was under 25 minutes.
Rusty, I ran a 5K this past weekend, and the time was over 25 minutes.
No, I don't think so.
You guys know how long it takes to run a mile? Matt?
You are the pan. No.
The pan? I don't know what that means. Aaron, I ran a 5K this past weekend. My time was over 25 minutes.
My math says yes.
Yes, right? Finally, somebody that knows what he's talking about. I ran a 5K this past weekend, and my official time was 23 minutes and 59 seconds.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. That's right, Maggie.
Aaron's never coming back.
That's right. Nope. Man, I mean, bad jokes, and he thinks I'm slow as F. All right, go ahead, Matt.
Can we circle back to the question about Sam?
No, we're past it. That was like 25 questions ago.
Because you haven't even.
Oh, I thought it was. I thought I was going to have to say mac and cheese is the best side.
All right, we have time to do promotion though. Doug, what are we promoting tonight?
I am going to the Santa Barbara Wine Festival, July 19th.
Yes, you do that like every year, right?
I do.
Yeah,
it's great.
Hearing about that. You need a sous chef to come out?
Yeah, come on out, bitch.
All right, send the plane. I'll be out there. John, what are we promoting?
I was like, Lace up. He just called you a bitch. A whole nother story.
But then he go to culinary school and be called a sous chef.
Yeah.
That's right. You damn pitmasters, you.
Pit bitch. He'd be a pit
am,
bitch, not a pitmaster. Pit bitch.
That's right. I'm okay with that.
Hey, grill fighters will be in my Amazon store in the morning for $59.99.
Wow.
And by the way, I am there since we've been on this call listening to the dumb shit. I am now officially an influencer for Grill Fighter. But Greg, if you can get me a better hookup than the $59, I would take it.
All
That's it. So check the
God.
link in my Amazon store soon.
All right. Rusty, anything we're promoting tonight?
I have a restaurant downtown Salt Lake called Salt City Barbecue. If you're in Salt Lake, you should come check it out.
How's your work life?
This is the first week I might actually have some nights off. I worked 104 hours last week.
Wow. Good for you.
About my average is 80 to 60 on the low end.
Wow. Matt, what are we promoting tonight?
2 quick things. Blinky's Offset Barbecue will finally, oh my goodness, be ready and available this week going into 4th of July weekend. We are fully permitted, fully vetted by codes and the whole 9. It's been an arduous process, mostly on my part. Secondly, in July the 19th, we're doing an event, Cooking a Whole Hog, Tuna and Hog, with Explorer Nash and Chef Ray Bello. We are doing the whole hog for it. It's going to be a unique experience at an art gallery in Nashville, Tennessee. Tickets are on sale.
Where do we go to get the tickets?
You can go to Explore Nash and find it Explore, like XPLOR, explorenash.com or any of their social pages, or there's a link in my bio as well.
All right, Aaron, what are we promoting tonight?
Order all your meats off of MrBrisket.com, competition or otherwise.
All right. There they are. This time around, we have a Doug Scheiding just next to me from Texas. We have John Solberg from Michigan. We have Rusty Monson from the great city of Utah. We got a Matt Osman from the great Smoky Mountains of Tennessee. And in studio, it's Aaron Huntleman from Mister Brisket and Go Big or Go BBQ. Guys, appreciate it. And we'll see you in July, if you can believe it or not. So a successful embedded correspondent there, as we're a little over time here. So let's do the quick outro. Let me clear out some of these files since I'm all cut up on business, and we can just cut right into this. This is what happens when you do... No. I didn't hit the right button. It's obvious. Anybody can see it. Here we go. It's what happens when you write an extensive list of Assurity questions. You go until 16 passed. With some good banter back and forth. Aaron, did you appreciate, or did you enjoy? You appreciate your time? Did you enjoy your time?
Yeah, always do.
Always, right. If you have meat needs, Mister Brisket, of course, and we thank the embedded correspondents all the way back to the first hour. Is Mike Grunwald talking about how we're eating the world, how we need to fix the food chain to help better our climate situation. And then, of course, in-studio guest Aaron Huntleman talking about the competition box, the partnership with the American Royal, talking about the incredibly large chicken thighs that are going out of there. So if you're in the chicken thigh need, again, MrBrisket.com. And we have a big show lined up for you next week. Believe it or not, we're already going to be in July. So we have a Malcolm Reed live. We have Sam the Cooking Guy live, and many others, if you can believe it. So how do I always leave you? By the way, I know you're wondering, as we close the poll out here this evening, have you followed a band around the country before? 86% of you are saying no. That means 14% of you are saying yes, which is sizably bigger than I originally thought and what was happening there in the beginning of the show. So good to see it bridging back towards 50-50. Not even close. Better than 95.5 and 100% no, as it was in the beginning. So how do I always leave you? September 11th, 2001. I will never forget until next Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern. This is your program host and proud U.S. American Greg Rempe saying, Shamo!
Hey, what's up? This is JM, host of the Celebrity Grill podcast on iTunes, and you're listening to the Barbecue Central Radio Network. All barbecue and grilling, all the time.